Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to Josium Draws, and I've got a new video for today. I said in an earlier video that I wanted to do more Mario content, which was in the Swampario video. I'll leave a little card in the top of the video here if you want to go watch that episode and then come back to this one. But I wanted to tackle some pretty common Mario enemies and celebrate 10 years of Mario. And what better way to do that was to kind of like upgrade or create new forms for different Mario enemies. And the one I wanted to focus on mainly for this episode is the humble Goomba. Now I like Goombas. I think they're pretty interesting. I like the way they look. They're very pleasing to the eye to look at. You know, they're really interesting. Really one of the oldest Mario enemies. And it's just kind of a shame that they don't really get as much love as some of the other enemies. You know, you look at Koopa Troopas, it's been in like Super Mario, you know, they're in Odyssey with the frying pan ones, they're in Mario Kart Racing, or look at Piranha Plants, how Piranha Plants in Smash, or like it gets like its own kind of like boss forms, like with PD Piranha and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of a shame because there's not really much done with Goombas. I mean, there are different types of Goombas, I guess you could say, like the ones that wear like the hard hats in Odyssey, or the ones in Bowser's Fury that have like the cat tails and the cat ears, and there's like flat Paragoombas, which are the flying ones. But fundamentally, the shape and kind of like overall design of the Goomba isn't actually really changed that much. It's just kind of, oh, they've got a hat on, and it's kind of shit and lazy. And it's kind of a shame because, like I said, Goombas are based off mushrooms, and I believe they are based off shiitake mushrooms, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So if you do know, let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate that. And I thought, well, that's kind of a shame because there's so many different types of mushrooms in the world, and mushrooms are pretty freaking cool. If you've ever looked up like different forms of mushrooms, you know, toads based off a mushroom, those really cool ones that are like have the red tops and they have like the white spots on them, they're really cool. And I think that's what toad's based off of. And I thought I'd take it upon myself to design some new forms for Goombas to give them a little bit of love, kind of like upgrade them, make them a little bit more of a threatening enemy in the Mario universe, and just generally create a pretty cool concept. So the first one I'm going to talk about today is these like bioluminescent Goombas. And obviously, if you've ever seen bioluminescent mushrooms, you'd know they look freaking awesome. How they're kind of like lighting up the whole forest in the greens and the blues, and some of them are like purples and pinks, and it's really, really interesting. And it's such a shame that they haven't done anything with them, especially considering that Mario has a lot of like cave levels, and I think it's just a wasted opportunity to not do something like that. So I created these bioluminescent Goombas. I'm not sure what official name they would have, maybe luminescent Goombas, or something like that, but I thought these would be a pretty cool kind of like change for the Goomba's look, and kind of like give them a new purpose instead of just running at you and then ultimately just getting jumped on for coins. Maybe you could utilize these kind of like Goombas in the level itself, so maybe it's like kind of perfectly pitch black, except you have these Goombas that like attached to the walls and ceilings of the level, and then Mario would have to like jump on them or hit them or something, and they wouldn't die, but they would just become dizzy. You know, kind of how like you jump on the shell for the Koopas, and they just kind of like retract it to their shell, and then you can use them to pick them up and destroy other enemies and whatever. And then maybe after a certain amount of time, they kind of like shake and they come back out. So I thought, what if you jumped on these and they become like dizzy, but they would become permanently lit up with these different like fun colors. As you can see here, I've got like a green one with a yellow light, this other like brownish yellowishy one with like a pinky peachy light. This purple one with this nice like vibrant blue light, and then this other like browny yellowishy one with like this bright pinky purple light, which I think looks really cool. So we could utilize these other like colored shrooms to like light the path or light up platforms that are hidden in the darkness, and that make a really fun kind of like dark challenging level. Or there could be these other ones that kind of like squint and crush their face up, and then they would just like send like a little bright flash of light in Mario's direction, and then it would like disorient him, so your controls would be flipped backwards, and so you'd have to kind of like try and work around that and it would make the level a little bit more challenging. you know, just trying to give them a little bit more of a use, you know, instead of just, like I said, for coin fodder. And I think this would, you know, make them way more cooler to look at, and I think these are pretty marketable. So I mean, could you imagine having these as like a desk lamp or something? You would just have like to press down on the Goomba's head, and it would just light up in all these different like fun colors. And you know, I've only designed 4 here, but I think they look really nice to look at. You know, I feel like I've captured the shape and the form and the personality of what a regular Goomba looks like, but I've actually, I think, I've improved on it and actually kind of made them pretty cool looking. You know, I've got these kind of cool teeth here, I've got the eyebrows and the eyes, so it's still got that classic Goomba look, but I've kind of give them a fresh cut paint, if you will, and made them off these bioluminescent shrooms. And I think that's pretty dope. So that's my bioluminescent Goomba. Let me know what you think of that. And the second one here, as you can see off to the side, is quite different actually. These ones are based off beach mushrooms, and I really like the way that beach mushrooms look, as they're always like, there's loads of them, and they're all like stuck together in this massive clump, and I just think that's kind of cool looking. Like I said, there's loads of different types of mushrooms. That's such a shame that Goombas aren't explored enough, and I wanted to make a Goomba form off of that. And as you can see, some of these other Goombas here, if I zoom down here, they don't actually even have a face on here. They just have like the mouth, and I think that's kind of interesting. And they're all like kind of like these different shapes and sizes. And there's even like a real mushroom down there. And I thought maybe the lore for this one is that these are like underdeveloped Goombas that are affected by Kamek's magic or something, and they ended up fused together in this kind of like giant clump. And so they would all be here, and they could like stretch and snap to try and swallow Mario. You know, and you can't just jump on them. You have to like cut them or burn them or freeze them to actually kind of like get rid of them. And maybe some of these big ones like here, they could like stretch and slam their head down, or they could try and bite you, you know. Or they could like open their mouth and release all these spores, and then these spores would start growing into other like these like little Goomba heads on top of Mario, and it would slow you down, and it would like eventually cover you, and then you would lose a life. Or maybe you need to get into some water, or you need to like actually like set them on fire or something to actually get rid of them, or do like some sort of like spin or something else to like get rid of them, otherwise they'll consume you. And I think that makes them a little bit more terrifying actually. You know, kind of having Mario breathe in these spores, and then he loses a life, you know, because he's being covered by all these like poisonous sporous mushrooms. Another one I thought would be really cool is that maybe they could like detach their heads, you know, shoot their heads off, and it would hit you, and you know, you'd lose a life or a hit point or something. I think that'd be really interesting. I also tried to make these a little bit more interesting with the kind of like textures, because regular Goombas just have kind of like just plain brown kind of like looking texture on them. While that is kind of nice, it's still just really boring. So as you can see in some of these, they have these white spots on them, and they're actually kind of this lighter kind of like yellowishy color at the bottom here, and then it goes up to this dark brownish color at the top, and it's still like a nice gradient that makes them a little bit more visually interesting. And I've got like a load of different sizes here. You know, you've got this one, you've got this one that's actually kind of curved, this one's got like a big stem, you got this really big curved one with a big head that looks really cool. You got this guy in the background there, he's just kind of like hidden in the back there, and then you got this like main one here. I tried to give them all kind of like some sort of like personality, looking in different directions, different shapes, you know, that kind of stuff, just to differentiate them. Maybe different eyebrows, like this guy has like bigger ones. I just think it looks really nice to look at. And then he added the kind of like this dark greenish kind of like background here with like these brown leaves, and it kind of adds to that woody kind of like foresty feel. You know, maybe this is like a deep forest level, and you have these clumps of Goombas that would like stick together. So maybe there would be like 2 or 3 of them at the beginning of the level, and they would get more and more as you go deeper into the level, and you know, they get progressively more difficult, because I think there's only been one kind of like major Goomba boss, which is a King Goomba or something. I'm not entirely sure, and I just think it's a real shame that isn't more done with Goombas. And I think this would be really fun based off the beach mushroom, and there's loads of different applications you could use this for. And I like the fact that they're all fused at the bottom here, And I thought maybe the big boss at the end could be this massive colony of all of these, and it would like they would all shoot their heads off at you and spitting spores everywhere, making more of them, and it'd be kind of like a really challenging boss fight. And then maybe the area could like cave in and it'll be all dark, and then you have to like use these bioluminescent shroom goombas, bioluminescent shroombas, I might call them. I don't know. To kind of like light your path up on like maybe some platforms or rocks or something you have to climb up of to actually get to the biggest kind of like beach Goomba at the top to kind of like ground pound it or something. You know, just make them a little bit more interesting. And I you know, that's kind of like my idea. But what I will say is I really like the way I've rendered this kind of like one specifically here. It's not fully polished, but I kind of like just the sketchiness. You know, I've left the sketch in there, and it adds a lot of character to this kind of like concept piece, because these are just concept pieces, right? I'm not an illustrator. I'm not trying to create kind of like finalized or finished artwork. My role as a concept artist, the way I see it is that I'm not creating illustrations. I'm creating and bringing ideas to life. You know, there's quite a difference between concept art and illustration. Whereas illustration is just to create a pretty picture, concept art is actually taking ideas and bringing them into reality, whether it's yours or someone else's. And these are my ideas, and I have the power and the ability to create them and bring them into life. You know, bring them into reality. These did not exist before I created them, and that's what's really, really fun about this: coming up with different ideas and then being able to actually execute it and bring it into reality. You know, you have the power to do that. Other things I really like about how this is actually rendered is that if you can see some of the line work here, I've actually colored it red, which just breathes a little bit of life into it. Instead of it just being dark and black, it actually it's like red, and it brings a little bit of like life into it. And these eyes have like highlights, and it just looks sketchy and it looks unfinished, but at the same time it looks like a finished concept. It's really, really weird, but I really like how both of these turned out, you know, especially these colored ones. I mean, this would make such a cool light, right? I mean, Nintendo, get on this. But I like these, the way that these are rendered, even though the line work is really sketchy. The colors really stand out, and it just looks really, really cool. You know, the dark eyebrows against these like vibrant, lightish kind of colors that like being enlighten the Goombas from underneath. I just think that's really, really cool. And then you got like these little disco lights on the bottom here that would like leave a little light trail as they run around you. I think that'd be really funny just to see that. And like I said, with this other one, the one that the beach mushroom, you know, that I took inspiration from, they're all like rooted into the ground. So they can't actually come out of it, but they can actually stretch and grab and bite you, or like I said, shoot those spores out. So it just makes them a little bit more challenging. And then I added like this dull kind of like desaturated green to the background here, and then like this little grassy patch there that just kind of like grounds it, you know, makes it feel like it's part of an environment instead of just floating in this kind of weird grey void that I just have for my background. Yeah, and all this is kind of like really desaturated, and on this one I added like a little bit of texture from actual real beach mushrooms just to see what it looked like. And when you zoom out like this, it actually kind of looks pretty good. It adds that like nice little bit of extra depth and texture and detail to it, so it adds to that kind of like more finalized look. But yeah, those are my two ideas for upgrading Goombas and adding and giving them a little bit of love, you know. So that's the Bioluminescent Goombas, or the Luminescent Goombas. And then the beach mushroom Goombas, which are maybe I'm thinking the collective mushroom Goombas, sorry, like the collective Goombas, or the fused Goombas, or the hive Goombas, something like that. Like they'll all act like one unit, like a hive mind, which I think would be really cool. And these, like I said, could be in like deep cave areas or deeply wooded areas and stuff like that, alongside other enemies, and just breathing a little bit more life into them. So let me know what you think of these kind of like upgrades and concepts for new Goomba forms, and which one do you like more? Which one do you think has a little bit more potential? These bioluminescent Goombas, which, you know, you can use as not only an like a stage prop to actually help you through the level, but also as an enemy They're just kind of like disorient you and make the level a little bit harder, and plus they come in fun colors? Or do you like this more detailedly rendered this one that's based off the beach mushroom that has all these like different forms, and some of them are a little bit underdeveloped, and some real mushrooms actually mixed in there, and they're big and small, and there could be like different kind of groups and clusters of them, and then maybe at the end you can find the huge one, so let me know which one is your favorite, and what would you call them? Or do you think, the Hive Mind Goomba or the Bioluminescent Goomba are pretty good names for them? But that's all I've really got for. I might make one on piranha plants because I've got a pretty cool idea for that, but you'll have to wait for that. So let me know in the comments, do you like these, But that's all I've really got for. So if you do like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my work around, all that cool jazz. Thank you for watching if you did get this far. All my links to all my stuff will be in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, bye! Hey there, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my work around. I'll see you next time.